in your notebooks. On the next page. Multiplying mixed numbers. Now yesterday we talked about multiplying fractions as far as with the drawing. Now you don't need to draw this at all, but when we multiply with fractions, if we had the fraction 2/3 times 1/5, you would first represent the first fraction. It doesn't matter if you do it horizontally or vertically. If I do it vertically, the first fraction, since the denominator is 3, we're going to break it into 3 sections. And since it's 2/3, we're going to color in 2 of the 3 sections. And then I said, in your mind, erase those vertical lines, and then we're going to represent the second fraction horizontally. So we're going to make it into 5 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to color in one of these sections. And then, when you multiply, the ones that are colored in both directions, that would be your numerator. And then your denominator is how many sections you've created, or we simply take 3 times 5, which is 15. Okay? So if we were to draw a picture of multiplying fractions, that's what it would look like. We talked about that yesterday. Multiplying mixed numbers is very similar. Okay? And you can write this down. Let's say we have 2 1/2 times 3/5. Now what that would look like is we would have two whole ones that are completely colored in. And then we would have one half of another one. Now, since our denominator is 2, we'd break those two whole ones that are colored in into 2 pieces, and both pieces would be colored in. Then we're going to take it times 3/5. So we're going to break it into 5 sections going this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to color in 3 of these sections. So 1, 2, 3. Kind of hard here. I do it like this. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, and 3. And so when we look at it and we want to figure out how many sections are colored in both ways, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this one. And we would only have 1, 2, 3 in this one. And so that would give us a total of 6, 12, 15 sections that are colored in. Now here's where with the drawing it can be kind of confusing. Each whole one is broken into how many sections? Well, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so our denominator would be 10. So when we multiply 2 1/2 times 3/5 in the drawing, it would look like this. And then our answer would be 15/10. Okay, so that's what a drawing would look like of multiplying a mixed number times a fraction. Now, every time you multiply a mixed number times a fraction, do you really think you're going to want to draw a picture? Obviously not. Okay? So, when we multiply with mixed numbers, step 1, we're going to change the mixed number to an improper fraction. To do that, first you're going to multiply the whole number times the denominator. Then add the numerator. Okay, so these two combined make the new numerator. So multiply the whole number times the denominator and then add the numerator. That gives you the new numerator. The denominator stays the same. Okay? If we do an example of this, if we have 3 1/5, the first thing it tells us to do is what? Multiply the whole number times the denominator. 3 times 5 is? 15. Now, you don't need to draw this, okay? But here's why we multiply the whole number times the denominator. We have 3 1/5. So we have 3 whole ones. And then we have 1/5 of another one. Since our denominator is 5, these 3 whole ones, we can break them into 5 sections. Now, since the whole thing is colored in, how many sections are colored in this one here? 5. This one? 5. This one? 5. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is the same as, or 5 times 3, or 3 times 5. And so when you multiply the whole number times the denominator, that tells you how many sections you would have in the whole ones. Okay? So 3 times 5 is 15. That's where we get our 15 from, the whole number, or the whole ones. And then we add the numerator. Well, here we only have one section colored in. So 15 plus 1. We just simply add the numerator because out of the partial one, only one of those sections is colored in. So now we have 16 1/5 sections. And so 3 1/5 is the same as 16/5. Okay, does that make sense? Now, step 2. We talked yesterday, reduce any numerator with any denominator. Now, it's important, since we're dealing with mixed numbers, that you try to reduce them, because if not, your numbers are going to get very large. They still may get very large. But if you don't reduce them, your answers can get extremely large. And it's going to create more work for you. Okay? So reduce any numerator with any denominator. And then once you've done that, multiply top times top and bottom times bottom. And then the last thing, since we're multiplying, and since we're multiplying with mixed numbers, there's a very good chance you may have to get rid of an improper fraction. We never leave our answers as improper fractions. Okay, so let's get out your whiteboard. Yes, Evan.
If you change it to get rid of the improper fraction, say it's a 3 1/5, wouldn't it just go back to 3 1/5?
No, because you have to change the mixed number to an improper fraction before you can multiply. I mean, if you change it back to a mixed number, you've done 2 steps and you're back to where you begun. Okay? Because 16/5 would equal 3 1/5. But you need to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions first. Okay? So, on your boards, if we have 2 3/5, change 2 3/5 to an improper fraction. Declan, get your board. Brandon, see that. I didn't tell you to draw it. Colin, see your board.
No, I can't see what you wrote down.
Just get your board for right now. So Declan, how do we change 2 3/5 to an improper fraction? Jana?
Well, you take
Just tell me the numbers.
5 times 2, and then you would add 3.
Okay. Brian, what'd she say? I don't know. Who? Dakota, what do we do?
2 times 5 and then add that to 3.
Good. Brian, how do we change it to an improper fraction?
2 times 5,
Which is?
15.
2 times 5 is?
10.
And then do what? Declan, what do we do?
2 times 5,
Is?
10.
And then?
Add 3,
Which is?
13.
And so your answer would be?
13.
Jana?
13 over 5.
13 over 5. The denominator stays the same. Let's do another one. 4 1/2. Quickly, Dakota. Okay, Brian, how do we do it? Which is? And then what? Just want to make sure you can see the board. You write it down correctly, so it's not a matter of not being able to see it. And then what? Right. Declan, how do we do it?
4 times 2,
And then what? Which is what 4 times 2 is?
8
And then what?
plus 1,
Which is?
9.
Okay, Brian, so how do we do it?
4 times 2,
Is?
8,
And then?
15,
Is?
9.
So what would our improper fraction be? There. Aiden. 9 over 2. Okay. Questions about that? Okay, so now, let's say we have this problem. Two and 1/3 times 3/5. First thing you're going to do is what? Dakota?
Change the mix number into
Change the mixed number to an improper fraction. I want you to write that problem down the way it is there, and then directly underneath of it, change that mixed number to an improper fraction, directly underneath of it. Do we need to change the second fraction? Huh? What are you gonna change it to?
Oh, you can change, you can reduce the 3 and 3.
Well, I didn't say anything about reducing it. I said, can you change the second fraction? No. So Brian, what's that going to be as an improper fraction? Colton, what's 2 and 1/3 going to be as an improper fraction? Guys, this isn't hard. Not hard at all. Wyatt,
It'd be 7 and 7 over 3.
Brian, take the whole number times the denominator. 2 times 3 is what?
6,
And then add 1, which is?
7,
So the improper fraction would be
7 over 3.
7 over 3 times 3/5. Next thing, you're gonna try to reduce it. See if you can reduce them. Just do it. Okay, when you reduce them, what can we reduce? Landon,
The 3 and the 3.
divide them both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is?
1.
And 3 divided by 3 is? 1. We can reduce the 3 and the 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Is there anything else we can reduce? Anything else? Nope. So now you're going to multiply. Go ahead and multiply them. There's no need to rewrite it. You have just write it here. What's this? This 3 became a 1, right? So now what? Okay. So when you multiply top times top is 7, bottom times bottom is 5, giving you 7/5. Do we leave our answer like that? No, it's an improper fraction. How do you get rid of an improper fraction? Steph?
Divide top by 11.
Go ahead and change, get rid of the improper fraction. Just got done doing this with 5th grade today. What I said to do, Brian. I think we need to start cleaning, or picking our ears instead of our noses. Come on. Divide the top by the bottom. When you divide the top by the bottom, 5 and 7 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract, you get 2. That 2 is your numerator. Denominator is 5. Giving you 1 2/5. Let's do another one. 3 2/3 times 4 and 4/5. 3 2/3 times 4 4/5. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, change the mixed number to improper fractions. Okay, Brian, 3 2/3. How do you change it to an improper fraction? Is, and then is. So our improper fraction would be 11/3 times Colton. How do we change 4 4/5 to an improper fraction? Alyssa,
You take 4 times 5 and then you add 4.
Colton, 4 times 5 is,
20.
and then what? What did Alyssa tell you to do? It's not hard, Colton. We just did 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we've just done 4 of them the exact same way. Steph,
Add 4.
4 plus 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 4 is?
24.
So we end up with 24 over 5. Okay, next thing, see if you can reduce it. Can we reduce them, Autumn?
Yes, we can. The 24 and the 3.
Divided both by
3.
3. If you didn't reduce it, you're going to be stuck multiplying 11 times 24. Pretty big number. It's a lot easier. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Now go ahead and multiply them. When you multiply 11 times 8 is 88. 1 times 5 is 5. Do we leave our answer like that? Now, so what do we need to do, Declan? How do you get rid of an improper fraction? Steph,
Divide the top by the bottom.
Declan, how do you get rid of an improper fraction?
Divide the top by the bottom.
Brian, how do you get rid of an improper fraction? Steph, how do you get rid of an improper fraction?
Divide the top by the bottom.
Declan, how do you get rid of an improper fraction?
Divide the top by the bottom.
Brian, how do you get rid of an improper fraction?
Divide the top by the bottom.
You can't get inside of your head, Brian. You have to decide if you're gonna listen or not. 5 greater than 8 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract, you get 3. Bring down the 8. 5 goes into 38 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract, you get 3. That 3 is your numerator. Denominator is 5. And you end up with 17 3/5. Any questions? Like I said, very important that if you can reduce it, that you reduce it right away. If not, I mean, 224 times 11, that is, I think, 264, if I remember, if I'm doing it right. And then 3 times 5 is 15. So then I have to take 264 divided by 15. Okay, 1, 15, subtract the 11, bring down to 4. 9, 8, 7. That's 105. Subtract, and you get 9 15th. And then you'd have to reduce each out of both by 3, and you end up with 17 3/5. It's a whole lot easier that way. Okay? Your homework. Page 130. 12, 13, 16, 20, 22, 24, and we'll stop at that. 12, 14, 16, 20, 22, and 24.